Hello lovely people, this is Nicola back in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room. It's Tuesday, September the 2nd, and I had a lovely weekend. It was Labor Day weekend here in Canada, and Sunday we had a lovely time going for a walk in the woods by a creek and having tea and having ice cream. We did a lot of steps that day. I don't know if it cancelled out the ice cream though. But it was really good. And Monday we had an early walk again, try and beat the heat, and I did my upper body workout. I'm into week 7 now, and yarn at Michael's is finally on sale, so I'm going to go and buy my reward yarn today. I'm working today and I'm owed 6 balls for my 6 completed weeks of fitness program. Yay! And I got a lot of festival admin done over the weekend. I was chasing up people for donations and new requests and pickups and all that sort of thing. And it's getting awfully close to the deadline, so I'm feeling a little bit stressed about it all. This is why crafting's so important, right? Good segue, Nicola. So, if you haven't followed me before, go back and look at vlog 114. It was my 63rd birthday on August 24th, and I published a video around that date where I was offering the bag I made in that video as a giveaway prize. So the instructions for how to enter the giveaway are in that video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the sweater, which I have been calling the Starburst sweater. It was a very plain top-down raglan sweater, knitted in a very bulky yarn, so it didn't take me long at all. And I have been adding the colour to the front of it in the last couple of days. I'm not 100% sold on it. As you'll see in the footage later, you'll see what I mean. So carry on watching and you'll see me adding extra colours to the sweater and expressing my reservations about whether it's actually going to be wearable. The other thing I've started is a slow stitching project. Yay! I previously made a couple of journal covers and a little drawstring bag. Why don't I go and grab it? Hold on a minute. I discovered a channel called Cool Kooky Creatures, and she was doing such amazingly fun things. And I, through her, discovered Annie Claxton. She has a YouTube channel and a Facebook group called Arty, Farty, Annie, and everyone in there is so creative and making all sorts of amazing things. And she had a whole month dedicated to what she called Maggie-licious stitching, because one of the members of the Facebook group does amazingly beautiful slow stitched scrolls and things. I can't say I feel like making a scroll. Yes, it would be fun, but then it would just sit in my sewing room and gather dust like a lot of other things. So I tend to like to make things I can use. My first attempt, okay, so I'll just have a little rundown of my journey through slow stitching in the last few weeks. I had made up this scrappy fabric here with bits of fabric, and I think it was on a backing of fusible interfacing, and I had laid a tulle over it and done a bunch of stitching on it, and I turned part of it into this zipper pouch. I love these rainbow zippers by the yard that you get from Amazon. Yep, the dreaded Amazon. After I made that, suddenly my world exploded because I started looking at the things in Annie Claxton's Facebook group. And the other piece of that fabric, I added a ton of embroidery to. So I started by following the patterns that were in the fabric already, and then I filled it all in with other running stitches and things, and then I lined it with this absolutely gorgeous fabric which I had in the stash. So I was blown away by how pretty it was and how much I enjoyed doing it, which is the most important thing, really, isn't it? The second thing I then made was this journal cover. And again, just built up from scraps on a piece of batting, and then tons and tons of stitching added in. So this is what the outside of it looks like. Lots and lots of stitching, a lot of it guided by the patterns in the fabric and then filling in with running stitches and things. And then I lined it with this beautiful flowery fabric, and I put pockets in there and some pen slots here. And this fabric twine that I made ties it all together. I made it to fit this notebook, which I stuck some pretty paper on because I thought it was far too plain to go inside of such an amazingly wonderful journal cover by the time I'd finished it. So that was that. The next journal cover I made, I think I loved it even more. So this is the one I made after that. I started out again with scraps of fabric laid onto a batting base and added lots of stitching, but this time it was a bit more pastel, not quite as bright and crazy as the last one, but gorgeous. So relaxing doing this hand stitching. And because you get so obsessed with it, it doesn't take as long as you think it's going to. This was the fabric I used on the inside, which is actually the same as this one out here. And I added a pocket. I was limited by the fabric scrap as to the size of the pocket, but as it turned out, this journal with its pinks and turquoises and silvery bits fits perfectly inside that pocket. And so then you just close it up, you wrap the ribbons around, you wrap them around the silver button, and boom. So then I got a bee in my bonnet about wanting something done on linen with softer colours. So I tea dyed some bright white linen that I had in the stash from making a top a couple of years ago. And I also tea dyed some Ada cloth. So I did a mini cross stitch and a whole bunch of stitching on the two pieces of linen, and then made them into a little drawstring bag with a little jute string and some wooden beads. And this is the prize in the giveaway. So blog 114. So today you'll see that I am starting another one a little bit later on. I won't show you the fabric that I'm using right now because you'll see it in a bit. I did post a little teaser on Instagram. Yeah, it wasn't a shorts, it was Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen the lovely batik fabric that I'm using. So once again, in my happy place, playing with colour and fabric and stitches. Yeah, why not? I have to go to work soon. I'm not sure what the time is, but I got up way earlier than I needed to this morning because I didn't sleep that well. I almost slept through the alarm. And I hit snooze about 3 times, and I thought I should just get up because, yeah, otherwise I'll regret it. So I ended up having about an hour to spare before I have to leave the house. So I'm going to get on with some more of my stitching, and you will see the result a little later on. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. We're very thankful for the clouds that are moderating the heat. And we're right by a large creek that runs through town. So it's absolutely gorgeous. We haven't walked this trail in a long time. Coming to the end of our walk now. We've walked along until we'd done more than our planned 6,000 steps of the day and then turned around, came back. So we know we've done about 5 kilometres. There's a lot of traffic noise at this point because the trail goes under roads on the way. Really noisy. I say we've definitely earned our cup of tea today. I think I am ready to start my next slow stitching project. I have found a bunch of stuff that looks lovely together. I have my template that is made from a takeout container that I got from the bulk food store. And when I've done all the stitching on this, I am going to fold it all back up. Fold it all up, I should say, as if it were a takeout container. And then it will become a fabric container. This will be my third one of these, and I'm excited to do this. The previous ones I made were built up from scraps, and they were all machine stitching, but this is going to be all hand stitching. Well, yeah, actually, it will be all hand stitching. I was thinking there might be some machine stitching in the assembly, but actually there won't, because once it's all done and I have cut my piece to size and folded it up, then I can hand stitch these flaps together on these sides, and I'll probably use a button or something like that. So yeah, no machine stitching in this project at all. Fantastic. I have my lovely little pack of needles that one of my lovely viewers sent me. These are all my cotton pearl 8s that I got from AliExpress not long ago. These are the ones I've rejected because they just don't fit. They're too red or too yellow or too whatever. They just don't seem to go. So I've rejected those. These ones here, absolutely gorgeous rich shades, and I think they go well with the purples in this batik. And then these are all my greens, so there's definitely some green in there, and these are all my blues. So let's pile them up in here. And those are the colours I can pull from when I want to do my stitching. Oh, they're like candies in a box, aren't they? They're just so cute. There. Perfect. So I have, losing my voice here. I have a small-ish collection of batting pieces. A lot of them I snapped up when they were on sale at Fabricland, or I brought them home as remnants. And unlike my other quilt cottons, I always washed them and ironed them and put them lovingly in a drawer. And then I proceeded to save them for best. Well, it's time to break this guy out. I rather like this. It looks like snowflakes on windows. I was going to use a different one, but I didn't have a big enough piece of it. And the batting I'm using is one of the pieces I dyed the other day. And yeah, I'm just loving those dyed batting pieces so much. I don't want to hide them away. But the edges of it will be visible when I have finished the project. So there will be a tiny bit of colour peeking out. So now I just have to figure out how I want to do my hand stitching. I'm going to do a bit of spray basting first, and then I can start stitching. I'm going to start with one of the less bright threads. Now, would it be too predictable to follow the grid that's printed on there, do you think? Could do a grid, but I don't know if I want to. Maybe I like to be a little bit more unpredictable than that. I think I'm going to do what I did with my last project and just do like a wavy line. And then maybe later I can start echoing the snowflakes. It's going to be a bit different with the not using scraps and just using a whole piece of fabric. Batik tends to be a little bit stiffer than regular quilting cotton too. There, just did a meandering line across, just to give me something to start with. Sometimes the hardest part of a project is starting, isn't it? And other times the hardest part is finishing. Save that little piece of thread for a small bit later. What I like to do is keep track of which ones I've used. So what I might do is slide these guys over, and the ones I've used I'll put the other way round so I don't get mixed up. Oh, I really want to use one of these. They're just so pretty. I'm wondering about this one now. This is more of a bluey purple, but then this is a reddy purple. Yeah, it'll probably be okay. Let's just get with this one because I can't resist it. Perfect. So I've done 3 lines now of stitching: blue, that lovely crimson, and the green. Now I want to do something which isn't a running stitch, so I'm thinking maybe a snowflake type thing somewhere in here, which then when I do my next running stitches I can go around the other way. So I'm just gonna have to figure out what that's gonna look like. Okay, so I'm thinking that I want this to be out and then over. I'll do the French knot later. So back through this spot here, and then I've made a little, looks like a bird's foot. That's not what it's supposed to be. All right, now I'm going to go back to where those 2 stitches. Let's see, let's think about this. Doesn't have to be perfect, Nicola. Down in between where those 2 stitches met. And then out to the side again. Notice I've gone smaller with those. And then one more. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a kind of snowflake. I know it's only got 4 arms. It's in a rather light blue. It's hard to see. And it's wonky. But whatever. Hand stitching is wonky. Oh, and I've just pulled my thread out of my needle, and that is very annoying. I think what I'm going to do next is change my colour for something a little darker. And I'll do another line of stitching going around my snowflake. Well, it looks like a circus tent, doesn't it? Oh dear, I did the yellow spiral, which you saw me starting in the last vlog, the end of the last vlog. And I did my radiating yellow lines, and then I did my radiating turquoise lines, and then I did some orange. Not as many of the orange, because I was starting to run out of room. So now I have one colour left, which is this crazy purple colour. And what I'm thinking I'll do is I will probably surface crochet in this gap here in between the yellow. And then I'll see what I can fill in over here. I'm not sure about it. I have to confess. Look at the inside. Look at all of the yarn tails on the inside. Isn't that nuts? Maybe I should have just left them on the outside and I could have had a big fringe. Yeah, I am going crazy. Okay, we're going to hide it back inside for now. And much as I adore these colors, I'm just not sure about it. If I have to undo any of it, it's okay, because all I have to do is, I don't know, can you see one of the edges? Yeah. All I have to do is pull this end out of here and it'll just unzip, right? Each of these things will just unzip back to the center really easily if I decide that it was a big mistake. But before I decide whether it was a big mistake, I'm going to put the 5th contrast color in. I did try it on because I was worried it might have pulled everything out of shape, and I think it'll be okay to wear. It's just, yeah, I'm just not 100% one on it. This might be a good reason why one doesn't normally make things that one dreams about. The question is, if I decide to undo all this and then try and plan a different idea, what would I do? I don't know. It's a bit late to incorporate the colour into the knitting itself, unless I duplicate stitch. I don't really want a completely plain sweater, because after all this planning of having this wacky, what I've been calling a starburst sweater, I don't just want it to be the plain teal. Oh, I do like that though. That actually looks quite funky. Now I'm wishing I had started further in, because I think it would look good. I think I'm going to start it again, because as I can see some blue, I think I'm going to start up there. Okay. We're going back. Oh, I just had an idea. You know what I could do is, if I decided to take this out, what I could do is I could knit a kangaroo pocket for the front of it, like a hoodie pocket. That might work. I've made 2 Sporto sweaters before, and that's a pattern that I found on nitty.com. And the Sporto is a hooded top-down raglan, I think, pretty much like this one, except it's got a hood and a bit more shape to it, and it has an optional kangaroo pocket. I never did add the pocket on either of the sweaters I made. I thought that being a knitted sweater, that it would probably just pull out of shape and just look like I had an extra large stomach. But that's an option for this one, I suppose. I did a few purples in, and I thought, I can't put 2 purples in here. And then I thought, hang on a minute, there's a big space here where there should be another pink. So I'm putting another pink in right here. Trying to make sure that my ends of my coloured lines don't always all just like line up. I know this is a round thing, but I don't want them all being the same length. Okay, back to the purple now. It's hard to tell if this is going to be lumpy because I've got so much yarn back here that I really need to deal with that before I can see if it's going to lie flat. I suspect it won't, but it may be okay when on. Oh yeah, just a few more purple lines and then I'll try it on again. I'm back. It's now Wednesday afternoon and I've had a very productive day so far. Not sure about my hair sticking up all the time. I'm trying to grow it out and it's just having to be more vigilant about whether it's sticking up in the back than I used to be when it was super short. Anyway, that's digressing again, of course. Super productive day, I was saying. Yes, I've had a festival admin day. I was driving around town doing various pickups of gift baskets and donations to put into gift baskets. I have a couple of beautiful pottery items from a local potter and a really expensive basket, I think it is, from a local ski hill. That's awesome too. And various other goodies. A lot of dressings today, actually. Salad dressings, condiments, hot sauces. Yep. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there who love their sauces. Anyway, I also went to 3 thrift stores, and I am now at the point where I think I can stop shopping for baskets, for the gift baskets for this silent auction, because I have 50 of them. Everything from a little tiny one up to like a really big one. And I think that's going to be enough. So in the last episode, I think I told you, or I showed you that sheer fabric that I had bought in the 4 different colors that I had serged into squares. Well, I also found today at Velu Village 2 sheets, and they are both pretty colors. One's got a lot of orange in it. It's a lovely flower print with lots of orange in it. It looks very fallish. And some of the baskets I bought actually had a fall theme, just totally unplanned. My only guideline with the baskets is I never pay more than $5 for one. Got to be under $5 for me to get it from a thrift shop. And so having the fall themed basket with a fall themed cloth inside I think will look really pretty. And the other sheet I got was completely different color scheme, a little bit bohemian, and pretty patterns on it, which I think I can probably center when I'm cutting it into squares and serging the edges. Oh, so I'm getting there. Things are proceeding at a decent pace. So I feel a little bit happier about it all. So I want to show you a couple of things this afternoon. I haven't done any more on the sweater or the slow stitching since I added to this. I think it was it yesterday or was it 2 days ago? I think it was 2 days ago. Because I had work yesterday and I had some pickups to do and I didn't have a chance to do any crafty stuff yesterday at all. So I want to show you my new uppercase magazine. This was something I treated myself to for my birthday. It's the most beautiful magazine you will ever see. It has no ads in it. It is very hefty. It's published every 3 months by a one-woman outfit in Calgary, Alberta. And it's very arty-farty. She does a lot of other things. Apart from the subscription magazine, she does a lot of standalone books that have different themes. And I have to say, it's so tempting to get the one that's called Notions or Glue or Thread. And there was the one that was called Thread and something, maybe Thread and Yarn. I'm not sure. I could spend so much money with her. It's untrue. Anyway, I got this and I opened it last night when I was finally on the couch after dinner and I was feeling really tired and I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to open it, but I'm only going to read the first few pages of it. So I haven't even looked through it all yet. It's thick. There's lots to see, but I don't want to read it all yet because I want to savor it. And when I discovered this at my local library, I just wished that I owned these magazines, because not only can you enjoy reading them and getting inspired by them, but you could actually use the content to make more art because the images are so lovely. So let's just do a really, I'll try and do a quick flick here. Actually, I think that is a summary of some of the other publications she has done. But isn't that page just so beautiful? You could use this in art. Okay, let's see what I can do. So there's lots of reading, there's lots of articles, bios of artists, people who have contributed. There's a newsletter you can subscribe to, and there's a call for art to go into the magazine all the time. She's looking for people to contribute. I'm not going to look too closely because I don't want to know what's in there yet. Whoops. But every page is just a treat. Drool worthy. Here we go. Here's the, hang on, I need my reading glasses on for this bit. So, yeah, she's got these publications here. And one of them is called Notions, so it's definitely sewing themed. Yarn, thread and string, definitely interested in that one. There's a ceramic one, a quilt one, an ephemera one, a feed sack one, a flowery one called Botanica. Oh. And then she's got these little ones called Little You, which aren't really for kids necessarily. They're just smaller. And I think they're really thick little books, probably about this size, I'm guessing, with tons and tons of stuff in them. And, you know, it would just be lovely to support this woman and buy everything she publishes. But anyway, if you're interested, go check her out. I will definitely put a link to her website in the description under the video. The other exciting thing, I got to the point where I had earned 6 balls of yarn. Here is my little award that I give myself every week for doing another week of 3 upper body workouts, 30 minutes each. And that usually involves a Bosu ball, which I'm often standing on it while it's upside down, which is great for the balance. And it involves some dumbbells, and usually also one of those stretchy things so that you can do other exercises in addition to the one with the dumbbells. And also just sometimes do some sit-ups and things like that, because my lower body gets lots of exercise with all the steps I get in every day, but the upper body's been sorely neglected. So I can feel I am getting stronger. I think my grip is getting stronger. In 6 weeks, I have noticed some progress. And that's what I'm doing it for, right? I'm not doing it for the looks. I'm doing it for long-term health and wellness. They say that grip strength is related to how you thrive later on in life as you age. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea to make sure that grip strength is working well. Okay, now I have to get back on track because my youngest son needs me to go pick him up in about 10 minutes at the motorcycle shop because he's dropping his bike in for some work. All right, what was I saying? Oh, yes. 6 weeks of exercise, 6 balls of yarn. And I've been waiting for Michael's to have a yarn sale because even though I get a staff discount, if they have a sale, I can get my staff discount on top of the sale. So I was shopping after my shift yesterday. I clocked out, did everything I had to do, and then went off to the yarn department, and I'm looking at the Impeccable, Loops and Threads Impeccable. And my original thing was to make this new page shawl, and I'll link to that underneath as well. I found it on Ravelry. I think I already bought the pattern as well, so it's all lined up, ready to go. And I can't remember who the designer is. I'll have to check when I've looked back at the Ravelry thing. And originally I was going to go with what they did, which was a white or off-white main color, and then 2 shades of each of the contrasts. So there was a light pink, a dark pink, a light yellow, a dark yellow, and so on. So that would have meant buying about probably at least 12 balls of yarn for the color, and maybe 2 or 3 more for the main color, the background sort of white-ish. And I thought, wow, it's going to take me so long to get to the point where I can start this crochet shawl. So even though variegated or striped yarns, usually you get less yardage for the same money, I decided to go for multicolored skeins. So instead of having the solid colors, but lots of them, I've got 5 balls of variegated and 1 really large ball of the white. So this is what I went for in the end. So this is the Loops and Threads Impeccable. And it was a bit confusing actually, because they had some Loops and Threads solids. They had Loops and Threads stripes, which looked very similar to these, but were not the same. It was a longer color change. They have this one, which is just called Impeccable, but it's a short color change. And then they have the tweedy ones. So I ended up examining the labels really, really carefully so that I wasn't mixing up my short color changes and my long color changes. So I got this one. Let's put the old reading glasses on again, which are none too clean, I have to say. This one's called Greenery Multi. It is a combination of greens and a little bit of what looks like almost a grey, I think it is, in there. And then I got this one, which is Meadow Flower Multi. And this one is a rather fun mix of light blue and pink and green and yellow and white. Very fun, that one. Then this one is Spring Tulips Multi. And that's a rather lovely blend of a lime green, sort of a crimson, magenta, fuchsia maybe, fuchsia I think, orange, yellow, white. The fourth one is Ocean Sun Multi. I think they're all, yeah, I didn't even look at this yesterday, but I think they're all multi. Yep. Yeah, Ocean Sun Multi. And this one is a combination of, what do you call that? A royal blue, a medium blue, a light blue, some yellow, tiny touch of green where the yellow and the blue kind of overlap. And this one is Hydrangea Multi. And this one is a combination of fuchsia and light purple, and it's like a periwinkle blue, I'd call that. So I'm hoping they'll all work in the same project. Lots of fun colours in there for sure. And what I will say about these, they are 3 ounces. They're only 3 ounce skeins. I don't know why this is working out looking backwards. Why is it looking backwards? Isn't this funny? My camera never ever shows things back to front. And yet when I'm showing you this, all I'm seeing is it looking backwards. Maybe it will automatically change it to the right way around when I am editing it. Microphone's on the correct side. This is so weird. Anyway, I'm in an alternative universe. So the solid loops and threads is a 4.5 ounce skein, and this is a 3 ounce skein. So yeah, you're getting less for your money. They're all $6.99 at Michael's here in Canada, and with the 25% sale and my 30% staff, it works out about half price. So not a bad deal. And rather than getting the loops and threads impeccable in the white, I bought the cheaper version, which is called Colorcraft. Look at the size of that ball. It's Colorcraft, and it is a 16 ounce ball, so it's 1 pound of yarn there. And presumably they did this one with glaring out somewhat, isn't it? This one is probably their version of Lion Brand's Pound of Love or Karen 1 pound. So there's a whole bunch of yarn in there, and that will do for the shawl plus a number of other projects probably. So in one fell swoop, with only 6 skeins of yarn, I think I'm set for this new page shawl. How awesome is that? So I'll be able to start a crochet project soon. I'm going to have to check the pattern because I can't remember what the stitch pattern is. It looked like it might just be a spike stitch, and it's starting from the point and then working up. I think one side might be straight and the other side might angle. And then it ends up being wide at the top. And then you can crochet some pom-poms or put beads along one edge. The Ravelry project page is what sucked me in, like the main photo on that page sucked me in, because the shawl was absolutely beautiful and the crocheted pom-poms were just a perfect touch at the end. They used, I think it was Scapia Soft Fun, which is a cotton acrylic blend. And I am using 100% acrylic. If I wanted Scapia Soft Fun, I'd probably have to order it from Wool Warehouse or somewhere like that, and it just makes more sense to buy it locally. So I think I'm going to carry on bribing myself with yarn. I think one ball of yarn a week is a good bribe and a good reward for me doing my hour and a half of extra exercise each week. Don't you? Totally reasonable, in my opinion. So I shall have to consider, and I don't just want to like buy random balls of yarn. I do want to have a plan like I did with this. So I don't have to literally buy one a week, but I can build up my credit like I did with this, and then think, right, this is what I'm going to make. This is what I need to get. Exciting. Anyway, I better go and pick up my son from the motorcycle shop now. I'll see you again in a bit. I'm going to give you a bit of a laugh now. I've put on the sweater. Thank goodness the AC is good in this room because I'm already cooking. I put it on and I went upstairs and I showed Mr. Stitches and I said, give me an honest opinion. I said, is it wearable? He said, it's wearable. He thinks the pattern looks like a splat. A splat, I tell you. It's a starburst. Anyway, yeah, I'll show it to you and you can see what you think. Ta-da! Okay, so there's a whole ton of yarn here, which if I leave it just hanging down, it just makes it hang weird. But I'm going to tuck it over to the side. And when I tuck it over to the side, it actually fits all right. I made it to be oversized. I know the sleeves are huge. We're not worrying about the size. I'm happy with that. I might need to run a chain, a crochet chain, around the neck just below the ribbing so it doesn't stretch out any more than that, because there's quite a bit of weight on the sweater and I don't want the neckline to get too stretched out. But what do you think of the color work? Do you think it's just a bit too crazy? I think I'm going to live with it for a little bit. I'm going to put it on my armchair back there and I'm going to look at it every time I come in the room, and when I'm absolutely sure I want to keep it, if I'm absolutely sure I want to keep it like this, I'll weave in all the ends. So that one is kind of finished, but also kind of on hold. So 99% finished, we'll call it. Since the last time you saw this, I've added a little bit. After I did my 2 snowflakes and my wavy lines from one corner to the opposite corner, I did 3 lines of running stitches from that corner to that corner, crossing here, just making sure I didn't make my stitches cross over each other. They just went in the gaps. So now what I've decided to do is this stitch here. So I used my friction pen, which is heat erasable, to give me a guideline. I've drawn a guideline as far as that center stitching section so that it's easier for me to keep track of where I'm going. Let's make sure you can see what I'm doing. So we have a smoke warning for the next couple of days. We've noticed that the air has been very hazy just lately. Oh, that was too much of a long stitch, wasn't it? Let's change that. What was I saying? Yeah, the air has been very hazy the last few days, and I've been thinking how nice it will be when we have cooler air. Oh, great, there's a knot. When we have cooler air and some rain to wash the particulate out of the sky. I don't like that one either. I'm going to take that one out. So there are fires in various places in British Columbia, as there always are. We've had a couple reasonably close to us, but not threatening our particular town. But there is apparently some considerable burning happening in the Caribou region, which is north, quite a long way north of here. But the smoke is apparently expected to head this way. And there is also some burning happening, wildfire happening on the mountain pass to Vancouver, between Vancouver and the Okanagan. We've been pretty lucky not to have as bad a year as we've had in the past for wildfires. Oh man, this is looking super messy. I'm not sure about this. But we still get the bad air. And one of the benefits of the air conditioning is not just that it keeps the house cooler, but it also means that the air is a lot cleaner indoors. It's cycled through a very effective filter. So anything coming in from outside is getting filtered somewhat. Thankfully, none of us have breathing difficulties. Just going to have to do this side of the stitch from the other angle, because otherwise it just doesn't seem to work. Okay. I tried to get a little bit of footage of the state of the sky tonight. What happens when the air is full of smoke? The sun looks orange and sometimes even red. A friend of mine posted a picture from her house and the sun was bright red. But from where we are, it just looked orange as it was setting behind the mountain. It was orange and it was making the sunlight on our deck and coming in the window and landing on the carpet indoors. It was looking orange. It's very surreal. I'm really glad I got this blue line to follow. Doesn't have to be exactly the same on every stitch, but there were a couple there which were just far too long. Kind of pretty. So what I did is, just before, I overlaid my template on top here. And I know that this area here and here is going to be the most visible, because when this is folded, these flaps partly cover up these parts here. So I've decided that this direction here with these snowflakes is going to be this section here. And that this might be a little bit more covered up here and here. I'm still going to do fancy stitching on it if I feel like it, but I just have to bear in mind that some of it might not be completely visible. Now, I know I said earlier in this video that this is going to be a completely handmade project, but there is a small but. I realized that because I had cut this about ½ an inch bigger all round than I needed it to be, and my stitching is starting fairly close to the edge of the batik, that when I trim it back, I'm going to be cutting off my knots, aren't I? So I think, to be on the safe side, because I don't want to figure out how to refold it if it was an inch bigger all around, like ½ an inch bigger all around, but an inch bigger overall, rather than try and figure out how to fold it a different way or, in different places. I think what I will do is, once I have drawn the outline of the template onto the batik at the end of the stitching, I think what I might do is do a fairly short machine stitching line on the line, the drawn line, and then I will cut it. So hopefully the short machine stitching will catch down any of these edges. But for now, this vlog is getting long enough, and we need to save something for the next one. So there we have it. Some yarn play, some thread play. You'll notice I've strategically positioned the camera so that you can't see that pile of 50 baskets on my sewing room floor, which I'm going to be tripping over for 10 days until we fill them with pretty things. And at that point, they'll take up even more space because I won't be able to just toss them in a pile. Oh boy. I'm sure all our hard work is going to be repaid on the day of the festival, and we're all going to have a fun time. So this is probably the last vlog before the draw for the little embroidered drawstring bag that I announced as a giveaway in vlog 114. So let's see, I think you've got until September the 5th. That's 2 more days from the time I'm saying this now. 2 more days, September the 5th, to enter the giveaway on vlog 114. And all the instructions for what to do for that are at the end of that video. So the next vlog, I'll be announcing the winner. I'll be drawing the winner randomly from everyone who's commented on vlog 114. And I'll be sending that off, probably with a couple of other little surprises tucked in to the envelope. They tend to be very small, extra little surprises because postage is so expensive these days, and sometimes I have to try and keep the parcel really thin. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you again really soon. Bye for now.